Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. It's another magnificent Monday, especially as it is their monthly mental health matters. At this month's discussion, we're talking about, complementary and alternative in mental health as we welcome the excellent company of Dr. Alexandra Borden, putting together another wonderful panel for us. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Also brought to you by greenturtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us as we welcome you to our monthly Mental Health Matters show. This month, complementary and alternative therapies in mental health. And Dr. Borden, again, a special good afternoon, a special thanks for helping us every month to make this discussion one that is accessible and certainly engaging. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much to yourself and Radio Cayman for hosting this segment as well. We do a lot of talk about, medications and therapy, traditional psychotherapy, the talk therapy, CBT, and a lot of the things that we discuss. I'm really excited this month to highlight alternative or complementary medicines, therapies that a lot of us are using in the community. So aside from the traditional talk psychotherapy and medications, there's a lot of other things that we can do to take a more holistic approach to our mental health. So we've got a couple of different segments planned with some great speakers talking about some of the services that they offer that can be considered oftentimes in addition to the traditional routes, but sometimes that is enough for the person as well. So some cool options to discuss today.
All right, we're certainly looking forward to the panel. As you shared, we'll be cycling doing the breaks from one presenter to the next. Well, let's start off with Mr. Terry Delaney as our first guest. Good afternoon again, sir.
Good afternoon, and I appreciate being here very much. This is a very, very valid topic and something I'm glad we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, man, and I certainly appreciate you joining us, and as you recognize how the schedule is working today, as we do all remotely. It's an opportunity for each to present. Now, I understand, your particular segment, I'm looking forward to hypnosis and meditation.
Yes, I don't myself practice hypnosis. I want to be clear on that. I am well aware of it. It's a very valid form of therapy. It's very helpful to a good number of people. There's a bit of an unfortunate situation that hypnosis, especially in the 60s, was almost like a parlor game kind of thing. There were TV comedy shows where they'd allegedly do hypnosis, and people would do little parlor tricks with it, and it gave it a little bit of a bad name. And that's so unfortunate because it has such possibility to help a good number of people.
Yeah, and I guess in addition to that, too, the other part is where we see it in the psyops where they use it presumably as mind control. But from your perspective, to counter that sort of negative connotation, what would you say about the idea of hypnosis in today's alternative sort of therapies for mental health?
What I would say is, having been a practitioner of counseling and therapy, I traditionally do the standard talk therapy most often, but I've seen a lot of people get a lot of good out of it. I just hope people don't have any degree of closed-mindedness about whether they want to go into it or not, because to be honest, there's no downside. There's no problem. There's, you sure can't get addicted to hypnotherapy. There isn't any risk involved. You can go in and you can give it a shot and see how it goes. The primary thing that I think is necessary with hypnotherapy and with mediation and meditation is the concept that we have to have in any form of therapy, and that is faith and belief that it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly believe this can be helpful, then 90% of the time it will be.
I appreciate you sharing us by its very nature. If you're closed-minded to it, then you probably won't be able to benefit or susceptible to its practice. From the perspective, though, if you could maybe quickly give us a view on what hypnosis would involve. We have that perception. There's the flickering watch and the countdown, and like you've seen from those old TV shows. Is that what it's like? What is it like?
It would be rare that a clinical hypnotherapist would use things like that countdown or the metronome and the like. It's a much more simple talking, like we said, meditation is similar in some ways in that it's a matter of getting the mind focused. That's the key in both of these, is focus. And when you get the mind focused and you get into a very, very comfortable position or a comfortable state of mind, then it's much easier to deal with many different things that need to be dealt with. And one of the things that comes up often is hypnosis, hypnotic suggestion. And that can be used in behaviors such as smoking. If people smoke cigarettes and they want to quit and they've been having trouble with it for years perhaps, when you go into hypnosis, you get a whole different approach. It isn't like a chewing gum. It isn't like the talk therapy groups. It's a unique approach in itself, and it has been quite helpful, like I said, for many people.
I guess as you shared, when we look at the many sort of alternative therapies that can add a complementary component, the objective is to try to help the person along to be better in their mental wellness. What would you say, in addition to being open-minded, to being willing to participate, is there anything else in your perspective that someone who is considering using either meditation or hypnosis in particular, or what else should they come to the table bringing with them?
Well, I think one thing that's important, and this is true in any kind of therapy, is they need to be willing to appropriately and politely question the therapist and find out where they're coming from. What is their background? What is their education? What is their experience? And be able to build a confidence with that person. So many of our therapies are designed where the therapist kind of does the therapy either with or for the client. There's very few where it's a true partnership. And that's one of the things with hypnotherapy that is very important, that the person feels they're part of this process. They're not going to sit there with their eyes closed and have some miracle things happen for them. They need to be engaged in it. They need to be involved.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I guess like everything, whether it's church or sports team, you have to feel welcome and certainly a part of it. Hey, Terry, I don't wish to rush you away, but I do, as you know, recognizing the excellent panel that we have ahead of us. Any sort of closing thoughts you want to leave with us in this segment?
Well, especially in this time and day and age with what we've got going on worldwide that has us all spinning. They're almost cliche words we've been hearing for a long time, but now they mean so much more. Stress, anxiety, anger, depression, relationship stress, all these things. I hope people would realize that a few visits for a therapist, whether it's a hypnotherapist, a talk therapist, music therapy, all the other things to be talked about today. There's great value in it. So let's make our lives more comfortable as we sort out the future.
Indeed. So thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. And Dr. Borden, I guess, as we come back for a monthly mental health matters, what complementary and alternative therapies in mental health. We'll have the excellent company of Miss Natalie Baldwin, the mental health social worker and yoga instructor on course in Cayman. Excited to listen to her as we talk about trauma-informed yoga. So listeners, please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up to date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
For many seniors, visiting family and friends brightens their days and keeps them feeling connected. Knowing that this is temporary is helping Mary Lawrence of Town to get through her days in self-isolation.
I am in touch with everybody. I'm in touch with all my family. I'm in touch with my friends. I'm in touch with older people in the community that we keep an eye on. I also have a big yard. I have a big garden that I spend a lot of time in. I take long walks. I cook. I have 3 days when I can be out, and I usually use those to maybe, like, I'll call and find out if somebody needs something, and when I go shopping, I shop for them too. I have a lot of things to occupy me. I have a full day, plus I read a lot, I write a lot. The days are full. I never seem to have any extra time to gripe and moan and complain. I do find that, though, that what I miss most of all is the physical contact with my family. And I miss being there for people, like when we have people are ill in the community and you can't get to visit them, or families who are in bereavement, you can't get to go to visit them or go to the funerals. But it's not something that I think that's gone away forever. I know it's just all on I tell myself that anyway because it makes it better. It's all on hold for that time when it happens again.
If you or someone you know needs assistance, call the Older Persons Helpline at 1-800-534-2222 today for free and confidential support. This message was brought to you by the Department of Children and Family Services.
Home, which should be a haven, can even be less of a safe space during curfew if someone is experiencing child abuse. If you or anyone you know is being abused, help is nearby. For emergencies, call 911. They will redirect your call to the relevant agencies. For general guidelines and inquiries, call the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH, at 1-800-534-2273 or 945-0545. Alternatively, email mash@gov.ky.
Fishing is permitted between the hours of 5:15 a.m. and 7 p.m. through Saturday, 6th June. Starting Sunday, 7th June, the restriction on the use of boats for fishing will be relaxed in Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac and will permit fishing between the hours of 4:45 a.m. and 9 p.m. each day of the week, including Sunday, but no more than 6 persons may be on a boat. In Cayman Brac, boats may also be used for leisure during these times, but inter-island travel by boat is not permitted. No fishing, no boating or congregating is being permitted at Stingray City, Starfish Point, Rum Point or the Sandbar. This means that a person may not anchor any boat, exercise on the beach, fish or swim or carry out any activities in any of those areas. This restriction does not impact beachside residents exercising at those locations.
Talk today.
but I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our monthly Mental Health Matters. This is a discussion, complementary and alternative therapies in mental health. Join us now for this segment together with Dr. Alexandra Borden is Miss Natalie Baldwin from On Course Cayman. She's a mental health social worker and yoga instructor. Good afternoon again, Dr. Borden.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. Thank you. These segments are moving quickly, but we've got some great speakers and some great services. So glad to have Miss Natalie on with us now.
Miss Natalie, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. I'm sorry you can't see my pretty face, but I'm happy to be here over the phone.
Okay, well, listen, your wonderful, cheerful voice evokes an image of not just compassion and confidence, but great competence together with Dr. Borden. Our guests can see, this wonderful spirit that we have to help people, especially in this time when words like being, locked down and being released and, I don't know, those words alone for someone like me, they're very particular. So maybe we won't be as conditioned as some have become. So I think, I'm looking very excited about your particular segment. I'm told it's what trauma-informed yoga is. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did. Yes, it's trauma-informed yoga, and I can kind of go into a little bit of detail of what that is, if you would like.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Especially now because we're home and maybe, increasingly our activities are out and about, but we're still impacted and affected. And if we have been conditioned, as some have shared, I've seen not just here in Cayman, I say this respectfully, not to slight anyone, but to recognize how we understand habits over a period of time. People become conditioned, right? And a friend was sharing, he was speaking to another sort of his contemporary overseas, and the son, they were playing, and the young child reacted in a certain way. Oh no, you can't come too close. You can't be this. You think, okay, it's okay. We're in the same household. Oh, and this is a young child who understands words that probably some of us would not have become yet acquainted with until we were in high school or in university. And because of the media and because of the constant talk, they now know. It's not just knowledge, it's perhaps, affecting them in many ways. But anyway, I like the idea of you sharing with us, especially now. So please.
Yes, definitely. And I agree. I think one of the most powerful tools is knowledge. That's empowerment. So hopefully I can help share some of my knowledge to help all of you guys.
Of course.
So I just kind of wanted to first kind of touch base really fast. I know I don't have a lot of time, is what trauma is, and just explain it. So trauma basically is a perceived threat to you or a loved one's life. And so that could be many various different things, being in a car accident, witnessing domestic violence, or it depends on what it is. But how it affects your brain. So trauma can really affect your brain in certain ways where you kind of, it can fragment your memories where you don't have a clear storyline of kind of what's going on. You just have kind of bits and pieces and it's kind of stored away. And that's where trauma-informed yoga can help a lot with kind of what's going on. Trauma can also affect the fight or flight or freeze response. So, the response if someone jumps in front of you, what do? Do you freeze like a deer in headlights? Do you run the other way, or do you fight? You're ready to fight, and that's our natural responses of humans that we have. Mm-hmm. So that's where I really love trauma-informed yoga, because what it is actually, it is yoga, but it's actually movement of the body and self-awareness of your body and your feelings and your mind. And I think it's really, really important to be self-aware of, how you're feeling, what's going on in your mind. But that's so hard these days because there's so much going on, and it's easy to be fast-paced. So trauma-informed yoga is basically a safe place where clients, I do it a lot with kids, have the freedom and expression to move their bodies and have the mindfulness that they don't have that safe space. So basically, with yoga, whoever, I'm sure, I don't know if you've been to a yoga class, they tell you how to move, right? You know, put your foot here, do this, and instruct you how to do it. But in simple terms is, when I do it, I let you make the decision. I empower you. Okay, so we could go into downward dog. We can do that, but you don't have to. If you feel like that's too much for you, then you can go ahead and go into child's pose. So it's basically giving them options, empowerment, and choices to do what's best for them at that moment. And that's something that I really enjoy about trauma-informed yoga and yoga in general. It's not a competition. It's not who can do the longest plank, who can do it the best. It's whatever's good for you at the time, and it's going to reward your body and your mind, if that makes sense.
Okay. So in this instance, then, it's not sort of physical exercise and stretching, but sort of mental awareness. But you also get, naturally, you'll be going through some of the movements of yoga, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it is definitely movement as well, but it's not one of like a core class. Does that make sense? It's not going to, you can definitely be doing more core things, but it's not going to be focusing more on that. It's going to be focusing on movement and listening to your mind.
All right. And then this would be whether you're looking at any types of trauma, where somebody physically, sexual, or any sort of trauma at all, it would be effective?
Yes, it'll be beneficial. And I trauma-informed in yoga, that's different things, but even just doing the movement of exercise and yoga does even help therapeutically, because that really releases the happy endorphins, and that can help you be able to regulate your emotions a little bit better than when we experience trauma. Sometimes it is harder to regulate our emotions and process them. So any kind of exercise does help as well.
Okay. Dr. Borden, as you wish to jump in, let me know. I'm just so taken with Natalie's picture now.
Yeah. I'm definitely a big believer in yoga. I'm not going to lie, I used to not like it. I've decided if you don't like it, it's because you need to do more of it. But I think that Miss Natalie's got a really interesting approach to how to do it, and it really blends nicely with her therapeutic approach with therapy clients. And so that's why I was really excited to have her on today. Since when I started doing yoga, I learned so much about my mind, about my body. Even that 5 minutes at end, the dead man's pose, it's hard to sit there. That's actually, for me, that was the hardest part of the classes, to be able to kind of just sit there and focus and try to relax. But the more I did it, the more I really appreciated the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really powerful way of helping to overcome the effects of trauma, and to connect with your mind and body, and to learn to be in the present. Right, the issue with trauma is it always takes you back, and then we miss out on what's going on now. So that was what I found most helpful with yoga.
Now, Ms. Natalie, from that perspective, then I can imagine some people would probably say, "Well, I'm not that physically, sort of fit, not that engaged in physical activity." And yoga, for someone, seems to have this perception that it is a lot of core strength. You got to have good balance. You got to have the notion that you can feel flexible. But from what I'm understanding from you, the focus area is to help you. Yoga is just that tool that would allow you. There is that physical activity, but it's not about a core yoga class. It's about getting you to a safe space and being reminded of it.
Yes, definitely. And I think with anything else, I think the beautiful thing about yoga is the process of it. So I always when I talk to clients, I always like to add the word yet. I'm not that flexible yet. I don't have that yet. It's working towards that, because there's definitely a lot of the poses that I'm still not able to do myself, but I'm okay with that. It's the ones that I'm doing and I'm working on that are enjoyable to me. I don't have to be able to do a headstand every time I do a class. That's okay with me, because that's my journey, and that's what I like about yoga. It's everyone's own journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, as you shared, it is fascinating. Sadly, we have such a short segment in a sense. But in closing, what else would you share with us in relation to using yoga, sort of the trauma-informed yoga as a part of a therapy? We have to help ourselves, and glad that people like you and Dr. Warner are available to help us. So what would you share with us in closing?
I would just share to encourage us to try to be open-minded, and you don't have to do. That's the thing with mindfulness. You don't have to lay and sit in one position for 30 minutes. Just try for 5 or 10 minutes a day, because you can really see the differences. So I'd really encourage you to go online or do 5-10 minutes every day, and just make it a daily routine to help with whatever's going on in your life.
All right, well, hopefully they'll reach out to you and recognize the importance of it. So, Ms. Natalie, thank you again very much. All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Dr. Watson, one day we'll be able again to sit in the studio with our round table, but for now, we'll do it this way. We'll pause and we'll come back, and then our next guest, Anna Wooden, will share with us. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Members of the public are reminded that the new curfew period will run nightly, 8 p.m. until 4:30 a.m. through Saturday, 6 June 2020. Adjustments will be made for the hard curfew period from Sunday, 7th June 2020 through Monday, 22nd June 2020. The curfew period will be from 10 p.m. until 4:30 a.m. daily. The new imposition of curfew order relates to Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac only. During this period of curfew, only exempted essential services personnel may be on the road, outside, and away from their residence. Social distancing requirements apply, and persons should not congregate in groups of more than 2 through Saturday, 6 June.
Travel between the 3 Cayman Islands remains restricted until further notice. Persons may only travel between Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman to provide essential services or for emergency medical purposes. Persons traveling between any of the 3 islands may do this by contacting bractravel@gov.ky with the details of their proposed travel, including purpose of visit, length of stay, accommodations, etc. Applications will be processed on a case-by-case basis. All individuals traveling to the sister islands from Grand Cayman must undergo a 14-day mandatory isolation period at a government facility. They will be tested on the 15th day, and direct transportation to the airport will be arranged if they have a negative result.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. It is our monthly Mental Health Matters. This month's discussion, complementary and alternative therapies in mental health. As usual, Dr. Alexandra Borden joined us. Dr. Borden, it's amazing the excellent panelists that you manage to assemble every month. So thank you again.
And thank you as well. I definitely appreciate the support that we have in the community from all the providers who take the time to join in on the show.
Indeed.
Yeah,
well, our next guest is
so great to
Anna
get
Wooden.
all the perspectives.
Do the honors, introduce her for us. Okay. Well, we do have Ms. Anna Wooden, a health coach. You have the place. Ms. Anna, are you there?
I'm here. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Wow. If I did not know that you were on the phone, I thought Ms. Susan would have reported you to my studio. It sounds so close. Good afternoon.
Soon. Good afternoon.
And like Dr. Borden was saying, thank you and to all the panelists for making some time with us, and appreciating the manner in which we're doing the show now, but to assist our people to understand how important it is to look after all of our health and well-being, but do not ignore, what we would say is that, the mental wellness. So, health to coaching. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I love this topic because complementary therapies, that's exactly the approach really of a holistic health coach, is that holistic component. So being able to work with other specialists is kind of my dream. I love when it's like a team approach of helping somebody because, you go to an eye doctor for your eyes and you go to the hairdresser for your hair. You don't expect one person to do everything. Health coaches, I was trained at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, so that means that the educational background was more nutrition focused, but it really talks about how it's never one thing in your life that's stopping you from reaching a goal. So if, for example, your goal is to eat well, or what I focus on is emotional eating, so to not react to your emotions through restricting or binging or overdoing or whatever it is on your food, it's never because you just don't have the willpower to stick to a diet or because you didn't get enough sleep or because you're stressed at your job. It's always usually more than one thing colliding. And even if it is one main thing, it's not just your diet. It could be your work that's actually impacting why and how you're eating. And people don't often make that connection because we're not really taught about it. So when people come to me, I try and if there's any apparent patterns of disordered eating or eating disorders, I ensure that they're working with a mental health professional as well. And then we can kind of tag team approach it and just make sure that we're each kind of catering to what that client happens to need. And very often for me, that involves checking in on if they're getting enough exercise and the quality of their relationships and their work life and their sleep, not just how do you eat, what do you eat. That is a component, but it's just one component of a big wheel of our life,
And I'm glad you share that because the idea of nutrition, I think sometimes we don't really relate it to our overall quality of life. And as you were sharing, we may look at nutrition and think, well, we're here binge eating because we're binge watching a television series or we're stressed. But then how does that nutrition, what is it to say? Either use the food as your medicine or your medicine will become your food.
Yeah. And you know what? You can also know too much sometimes. Like, there isn't necessarily a case to say that someone who knows all of the information about the healthiest foods, there's something called orthorexia, where people can get obsessive about eating the right way all the time, exercising the right amount all the time. Anything that's controlling your life more so than the other way around isn't healthy, right? Even if it's, the irony is, even if the habit is that you're eating the healthiest way in your mind. So it's becoming, it's always been there, but I think with the current situation, with the pandemic going on, the stresses of our everyday life they're really quite intense right now. I can't think of another situation that would affect as many aspects and facets of our life as this. It's the economy, it's our health, it's our kids, it's our home life. So we're being pulled in 101 directions, and I'm hearing from a lot of people that, including myself, that the emotional eating side is certainly rearing its head. It's so much easier to just snack all day long, or to maybe if you're stressed, not eat enough. It can affect in any number of ways, but certainly I think it's happening now more than ever. And it's time to kind of, I say it's time to focus on it, but it's actually also the time to give yourself a break. If there's a lot going on, this is not the time to beat yourself up for your eating habits changing, if you're dealing with major stresses. But it is a good time if you're having days that are a bit lighter to just ask yourself those questions. Just start to explore it. Like, why do I think I'm eating now? What's really going on with me? And that's about as gentle as you should be, because I just think now is not the time to, rake yourself over the coals and try a whole new plan. But it certainly will bring to head a lot of issues that might have been simmering under the surface before.
Dr. Borden?
Yeah. Well, and I love that Anna talks about the team approach as well, and I think that's where, alternative therapy...
Sorry to interject. I'm not sure how well others are hearing you. I'm not hearing you that well. Let me check in with Susan, but go right ahead, Mom.
Okay, sorry. I'll try to talk more loudly. I don't know if that will help.
No, don't.
But I've been told I have a good therapy voice, but I'm not very good at talking loud. So, but that's why I like the term complementary therapy. So as Ms. Anna talked about that, a lot of times her clients will work with a mental health professional as well. And likewise, as you guys know, I do the horse therapy. And so I might be the mental health professional in that, or I might just be the facilitator for the equine-assisted psychotherapy, and they'll have a primary therapist and a psychiatrist perhaps involved as well. And so this really does build into that team approach, and that's where I think that these can be really beneficial to people in taking a more holistic approach.
I would agree with Dr. Bodden there, because when I looked at the lineup for today and listening to Terry and Natalie so far, everything that we're talking about is stuff that I would also recommend, like yoga, meditation, hypnosis. These are all great tools to use when you are stressed. I would say instead of going to the cupboard, try and ask yourself, is there something else I could do to relax myself right now? Even a 5-minute meditation on YouTube. Just, because if you've done that step and you still want to eat it, I'd be like, go ahead. But at least then you've done the pause, you've given yourself the chance to evaluate, and you're likely to feel, I defy anyone to do a 5-minute meditation and not feel a glimmer of a benefit, even if it's just that slowing down of breathing more deeply. So at least if you've done that, then maybe I am hungry, or maybe I'm just going to let myself have this, that's fine. But you've just done that check-in with yourself, and it can be hard to do that just on your own if you don't have a tool. So using one of these tools is so good for that, because it can be like, okay, I did a yoga stretch, okay, I did a meditation. So now I know that I've just had that moment of peace, and now I'm making a decision from a calmer place. And I think that's all we can ask of ourselves.
Sounds like a complementary approach can be most beneficial.
Yeah, and like Terry, I think, said, there's no downside to any of this. You can't get addicted to hypnosis, I think he said. But he's right. It's not like any of these have, what's the worst that happens if you spend 5 minutes of your life doing a meditation video? You were bored? I mean, there's no real downside.
And Dr. Bonner is sharing the notion that we look at healthy eating, and we look at perhaps the impact eating or not eating, or eating properly can have. We see how the energy from food, but maybe, Ms. Anna, the idea of how it impacts not just our physical well-being, but our emotional and mental, sort of the brain space, as I call it, how certain foods can affect our alertness and the like. Now, with that, Ms. Anna, I recognize again how quickly we're moving through. Any closing thoughts you might want to? This thing goes even faster than some people's honeymoons.
It does. My closing thoughts, honestly, for people right now is what I said. Really do try and be gentle with yourself. Now is not the time to see all of your most stress-related habits pop up and be intent on, it'll be like that game of, is it Hungry Hippos or something, or whatever it is that you're trying to, one pops up when you put another one down. So just take it easy on yourself. Just simply ask yourself, if you find that you're snacking more, you don't like that, just ask yourself before you have it, am I hungry? And if you don't think you are, try something else that's just the busyness of using your, maybe you're doing it for calming, so have a glass of water, chew on a stick of gum, try something that just distracts for a second. And then definitely, if you feel that you could handle it, try a meditation video, try a yoga stretch, go for a walk. I think it's the great thing about this situation is it's forcing people outdoors to exercise a lot more, and that time in nature is very calming. Try journaling, listening to music, anything that you think could help just for a moment to calm you. And just look at the basics. Are you sleeping enough? Are you going outside and exercising? Are you drinking enough water? These are just simple things to ask yourself, but don't judge yourself based on the answers. Just give yourself a break. That would be my parting thought.
I love that. Because sometimes we are indeed our worst critics, and we beat up on ourselves sometimes unnecessarily. So
that's counterproductive.
Yeah, but be willing to, as you say, be gentle with yourself, be loving and kind to yourself. Anna, thank you very much. Enjoy your week as well.
Oh, thank you. It was great to speak to you again, Sterling.
Always a pleasure. And to our listeners, it is our monthly Mental Health Matters, and I love an opportunity to share with so many, and hopefully you're benefiting. After the news break, we stand up and do it, and we've got a chance to talk about the whole idea of using equine therapy. The horsemanship comes into play. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government says the Cayman Islands tourism industry is preparing for a, quote, robust rebound when borders reopen by developing industry standards for sanitation. The Ministry of Tourism says that they have placed immense priority on the development of sanitation protocols adapted for Cayman's destination to provide the best possible tourism experience. The MOT says the goal is to work with industry partners for each touch point of a guest's experience to ensure a hygienic encounter once they are in Cayman. Violence has erupted in cities across the United States on the 6th night of protests sparked by the death in police custody of African-American George Floyd. Curfews have been imposed in 40 cities, but people have largely ignored them, leading to tense standoffs. Riot police have clashed with protesters in New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles, firing tear gas and pepper bullets to try to disperse the crowds. George Floyd died last Monday in Minneapolis when a police officer knelt on his neck. The fired police officer who's been charged with murdering Floyd will face a court this week. Demonstrators have also set fire to properties near the White House, including a historic church called the Church of Presidents. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up-to-date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
The efforts of those working behind the scenes are crucial to sustaining our community. Groups like the Needs Assessment Unit are often misunderstood and unappreciated. Like the roots of a tree, they hold us up, keep us fed, and without their dedicated diligence, we would simply topple over. To the civil servants of the Needs Assessment Unit and all of the men and women in our social services network, on behalf of all those in our Cayman Islands who rely upon you, you are appreciated. Hashtag Cayman Strong.
Your Radio Cayman 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit www.caymannational.com for up-to-date information for all your financial needs, and follow us on social media.
Stop the spread of coronavirus by washing your hands with soap frequently. If none is available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay at home whenever you can. Avoid close contact with people outside your household by staying a minimum of 6 feet apart, and wear a mask while in public. For more information, go to www.gov.ky/coronavirus.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
We are open. Visit Puritan Cleaners drive-thru off Eastern Avenue, 8 a.m. till 3 p.m., Monday to Saturday. Our Elgin Avenue and Savannah locations will remain closed. However, your items can easily be transferred to Eastern Avenue. Just call us at 949-7104. That's 949-7104 with your request. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
Dear students, we know that you miss your friends, being outside, and most of all, coming to school.
And we hope that you understand that everything happening right now is to keep you safe from harm.
You are our priority. You are the future. So even though this is a tough time, we believe in you to be the leaders we know you can be.
To stay focused on doing your best work even when no one is watching.
To be helpful and respectful to your parents and guardians at all times.
To be kind and thoughtful of everyone around you.
To always be thankful, even for the little things.
And most of all, to remember to keep in touch with us because
we are here for you. Love your teachers.
A message from the CIFEC, Clifton Hunter, Creek and Spot Bay, Georgetown, Prospect, Savannah, and Sir John A. Cumber Schools, and Little Cayman Education Services.
You may be home isolating, but your taste buds can explore the world. Dragon Inn Restaurant and Countryside Plaza, offering savory dishes in traditional, authentic, American, Szechuan, Mandarin, Filipino cuisine, and Cantonese style, made fresh daily. Family dinner specials, rich in taste with no MSG. Choose from stir fry, chop suey, chow mein, sweet and sour, and so much more. Call 947-1166. Pick up Monday to Saturday from 10:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. Delivery 7 days per week until 9 p.m. Dragon Inn Restaurant and Countryside Plaza. Daily lunch specials and combinations, bringing international deliciousness to your doorstep. Call 947-1166 to place your order.
The Cayman Islands government wishes to advise the public that they will continue to distribute reusable cloth masks across the Cayman Islands with the assistance of the RCIPS Community Police Officer and Community Safety Officer in your areas. Officers will be visiting homes in all districts over the next few weeks, and a limited supply of both disposable and reusable masks will also be available at supermarkets. Remember, you are required to wear a mask when indoors in any public place and when using public transportation. Continue to maintain a minimum of 6-foot distance at all times from persons who do not live in your own household, and wash hands frequently. Stay safe, Cayman.
But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. It is our monthly Mental Health Matters show. This month's discussion, we're talking, about the whole opportunity to look at your mental health in all aspects and complementary and alternative therapies in mental health. Dr. Alexandria Borden from On Course Cayman, as usual, opportunity to appreciate the importance of mental health. Dr. Borden, it's going even faster than normal, I believe.
I agree. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, but it's important. And I think as you and all the panelists have shared so far, especially in this time, the importance of ensuring that we look after ourselves, our mental health and wellness. Sometimes, unfortunately, we don't see it. We'll quickly look after other things, but maybe not looking at ourselves and being sure that we're taking care of ourselves in that space. As soon as we get Ms. Shana online, I just double check. Ms. Shana, are you there? Okay, not just yet. But
well, I will say so. So Ms. Shana is actually our partner for the equine-assisted psychotherapy that you often hear me talk about.
I'm
really excited to have her on today. So all of these people I've worked with clients. That's why I'm really glad to have them on today. But this is one that's particularly special to me because I've always ridden horses. I still have several horses. Horses have always been a big part of my life. So I've always been a believer in the therapeutic effect of them and just being around them and working with them. But the work that I do with EGALA, with Ms. Shana, really takes it to the next level. The work that we do is psychotherapy, but with horses. And so all the work is done on the ground in the arena. And we use a lot of metaphor. So generally whatever happens in real life, just like we say it happens in the therapy room, it also happens in the arena. And horses being herd animals, they're very attuned to social cues and very good at reading people and their thoughts and their feelings. But they're also prey animals. They're also very responsive, so they're very good at giving us immediate feedback to whatever they feel from us in the arena. And what I really love about the therapy is that it's very client-driven. So we will reflect what we see in the horses and find out what it meant to the client. And we never cease to be amazed by the ways the horses react differently when different people come in the arena, which to me makes me a big believer in just how helpful they are to be a part of our therapy team. From session to session, you will see big changes in the horses and their reactions and what they're doing, which gives us a lot of information as the clinical side, Ms. Shana and I, about what's happening with the person, but then hearing from the person what that meant to them is what really makes it a very powerful therapy.
As I listen to you, there is something about animals, but horses in particular. They're majestic. They're these. I don't want to use the word creatures, but they're so beautiful and powerful, and yet so loving. They can be strong and gentle. They are just me from a distance. I'm excited to hear as you share. They seem to be in tune with you. As they gallop and you're riding on them, you feel that rhythmic motion, whether you in the water with them, or whether you just, lightly, gently trotting through the field somehow. There's something majestic about being in the presence of a horse.
Yeah, well, and I will say that their size and their beauty, it brings intrigue and interest, but also they're not the kind of animals they can go in and push around. That's what really makes it different from therapy, like with dogs that are very affectionate and definitely a role for that. I love my dogs, and dogs are so happy to see you, and dogs are the perfect example of mindfulness. But with the horses being a bit more sensitive and a bit more stoic, it requires a bit more. And you tend to see changes and shifts begin to happen as people walk in because of having the horses in the arena with them. And the horses in our therapy are free to move around and respond exactly as they see fit.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, from a distance, I am familiar with parents who said they've used this with their children specifically and found such an amazing and wonderful difference in the child's life. Sometimes, gladly, but just so unexpectedly, because here you have, and only in the examples that I know, you have this child that seemingly appears to be introverted, very timid, not necessarily outdoorsy. Maybe we have, as people, this perception, maybe it's from the Western movies and the like, that the horses, sort of equate to this type of lifestyle. If it's not inappropriate, maybe ask you what therapy with horses would look like. I imagine, obviously, it's outdoors, not on a couch. You don't have to wear your chaps and your spurs and your hat, but not to make light of it. But what is it like for someone who's considering, what I should pursue this as an alternative therapy to make it work for me? What would that look like?
Yeah. So the EAP, the equine assisted psychotherapy, we don't tend to ride in it. So the work that I do with Nashena for that part is actually all on the ground. So people come in. We might meet them at the picnic table. Nashena's got a beautiful place. If no one's been to Cowboy Town Stables, I highly recommend it. And so we meet them there, introduce them to ourselves and what's going on. Then we go into the arena. So the only thing you need to wear is closed-toed shoes, because we are working with the horses. And I recommend a hat because I get sunburned if I'm there for too long. But that's all you need. You don't need any horse experience for our work. And our work is evidence-based. We use it for a lot. I find it especially helpful with clients that are kind of stuck in therapy, where there's difficulties with releasing emotions or kind of making change, or if we've kind of plateaued. It's a great way of creating change and shift. The other work that Ms. Shana does, I'm hoping will be on with us in a minute, is going to be is therapeutic horsemanship, where there is riding involved. And so whereas ours is more emotion-based, we do a lot of work with trauma, and a lot of kind of wellness. We deal with a lot of anxiety, depression, ADHD with the children. We've even run a few groups out there. But the therapeutic horsemanship is the other side of our practice, which does a lot of horse care. And that's a lot of spending the time with the horses, learning to care for the horses, and then learning to ride the horses. So there's a lot of skill building there. And so clients, especially the kids that maybe aren't up to kind of handling the metaphors and the deeper sides that can come with the EAP, the horsemanship is a great option for learning to connect with an animal who's non-judgmental, because a lot of times kids have difficulties with peers or bullying. Learning new skills, because especially if they're not strong in academics, it can be very hard on the self-esteem. Learning to ride a 1,200-pound animal does wonders for the ego. But it's also a very supportive environment, and that's what I really appreciate down there, because they are trained to work with kids with developmental and physical disabilities. Ms. Shana works with kids from a few years old and up. All of her staff and the volunteers that help her are trained to assist with any kind of needs really that might come up. And so it's a very supportive environment to try things, and it's okay to try things and to make mistakes and to learn and to grow from it. So with that one they probably will be wearing cowboy boots.
All right. Well, she is actually online with us now. Let's go to and join her. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for sharing with us.
Good afternoon.
All right. It's I think for many of us, whether you live on an island or you're in a 100,000-acre ranch, just the presence of a horse in and of itself, in the wild or as part of a stable, just a beautiful, beautiful, presence. But now using the horses to help us in our mental health and wellness even more. So tell us about the equine-assisted psychotherapy and the idea of using horsemanship, as a therapeutic measure.
Well, horses are very large and powerful animals, and they can be quite intimidating. They're herd animals, so that means they're social, and they have a social hierarchy. And working with them can build lots of skills and help identify a multitude of feelings and how to deal with them. Too many and there's another one. But we really enjoy seeing what the horses can do with various people, and they respond to the person that they're with. So they may respond differently to you than they do to me. But the nice thing is that we know them well enough that we have a good idea of how they may respond, and they've had lots of training, and they're well behaved and trusted.
Mm-hmm. And for that, as Dr. Bodden was sharing, the idea that many, in particular adolescents, that may have experienced some form of bullying at school, academically, may be just challenged, and so their self-esteem, their self-confidence, it may be a little bit impacted now. Coming and interacting with the horses, seeing the unconditional love, the non-judging environment, but then developing the skills to be able to interact with this. Again, for people of my stature, a horse can be a large animal, but yet so loving. That must be in and of itself just very helpful, I can imagine.
It is, and it can build quite a bit of confidence, and it helps you work on even the way that you carry yourself, because horses are masters at reading body language. And people use body language in communication even though they frequently don't even realize they're doing it. So the way that you carry yourself when you're interacting with people can make a difference, just how it does when you're interacting with the horses.
With that then, as your clients come through and they're starting to understand the way they carry themselves, the messages we convey through sort of our body language and the like, is it then that they're starting to appreciate not only to, head up, eyes straight, walk with a certain tone, but learning more about how they project their self-image and how they look at themselves, so that they become not just more confident, but more perhaps loving, perhaps kinder to themselves, more understanding of themselves?
Yes, and it's a good way to work on your communication skills as well, because horses, just like people, have a variety of personalities, and what works with one person/horse doesn't necessarily work with the other person. And so we have several programs And with therapeutic horsemanship, we teach skills. So we're actually teaching them how to approach the horse, how to halter the horse, how to groom the horse, how to be safe around the horse, and how to handle certain behaviors or make corrections, how to be your horse's leader because your horse needs a leader. Whereas with equine-assisted psychotherapy, that's not about teaching, that's experiential, it's more discovery. So it depends on what you're working on or what type of activity or therapy you're working on and how you may use that. So it takes a lot of work on our side because when we're doing horsemanship lessons, we're in the mode, the teacher mode. This is how you do it. This is why you do it. This is what could happen if you do it this way or that way, or try something a little bit different. Whereas with the psychotherapy, you're not teaching those things, you're helping them to discover them. We're not teaching about colors and types of horses and how to pick up a foot, or as we do whenever you're doing horsemanship.
This is why I think it was perhaps so wonderful about Cayman, not just where it is and the physical environment that we have. Some places don't appreciate how it's so much, easier to get outside in a safe environment, wonderful fresh air, sunshine, not as polluted. With that, in closing, Ms. Pandui, what do you say to others as we look at some of the alternative therapies to complement the notion of looking after our mental wellness? What would be your closing thoughts for us today?
Well, with therapeutic horsemanship, I would say that's complementary. It's not therapy, it's recreation. And a lot of people who participate in therapeutic horsemanship may not be able to participate in other kinds of recreational activities. So it opens a door for them to be able to have fun. And the thing that I like about equine-assisted psychotherapy is that a lot of times it's fun, it's therapy, and it doesn't feel like they're being, for want of a better word, sorry, Dr. Bodden, therapized. They come out, they're at the farm or the ranch, and they're outdoors, and they're working on whatever their emotional goals may be, but it doesn't feel the same as it does in an office. And so a lot of times things come out that they're able to deal with, or that they realize that they wouldn't realize sitting in a chair in the air conditioning. That can be very complimentary, and in some cases they may just participate in equine-assisted psychotherapy, but I think it's very good if it's a complement to some other kind of therapy that they're doing.
All right. Well, I certainly, welcome, as Dr. Bodden shared, these opportunities to highlight for our populace the various opportunities to ensure that we look after our mental health. And for those who didn't know or who mightn't appreciate it, I'm glad that we get a chance to talk about using our horses to assist us. Ms. Pandui, thank you very much for sharing some time with us this afternoon.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Back on. It was a pleasure. And Dr. Bodden, I'm looking forward to our final segment as we look at, what is we were told, music be the food love play on, but using music therapy as a way to assist us as well. So the final segment coming up after the break.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up to date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today. It can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Store enough drinking water for each family member in your household for at least 5 days. Be sure to have at least 1 gallon per person per day. Store additional water for those with special needs, such as nursing mothers, young children, or people with illnesses. Keep drinking water in a clean, non-corrosive, tightly covered container. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website, www.waterauthority.ky, or follow us on social media.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Are you finding that your young child is anxious? Coping with COVID-19 related stress can be harder for children as they have less experience of facing big challenges. Signs that your child may need emotional support can include frequent crying or irritation, toileting accidents or bedwetting, changes in sleeping habits and appetite, frequent arguing or fighting with others, and increased physical ailments such as unexplained illnesses. For free and confidential support, call the Mental Health Helpline weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 1-800-534-MIND. That's 1-800-534-6463.
Hi, this is Danny Coleman, Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands. We are now in the hurricane season, and for information on how to prepare and stay safe, please visit our website, www.caymanprepared.ky. Some top tips to bear in mind, given that we are still in the midst of COVID-19. Please make sure you have a mask and sanitizer, you have food supplies to last for 3 to 5 days, a portable radio, personal hygiene and sanitation items, and medical supplies, and any other specific items your family may need during a hurricane. Make sure you know where you will shelter in the event of a storm. If you have pets, please make sure provisions are in place for them too, as the majority of shelters will not take pets. Please visit our website for more tips and tricks on www.caymanprepared.ky or call us on 945-4624. Stay safe, Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. It is our monthly Mental Health Matters. In this month's discussion, complementary and alternative therapies in mental health, always with the excellent company of Dr. Alexandra Borden. Hey, Dr. Borden, I must share, this is a fantastic community, especially during this time. We can see the greatness that we have,
Yeah, for sure. I think that all of these are great for enriching lives. And the great thing is that some of them are able to be offered online as well. The horses one is a bit harder, but there's some great apps and resources available for things like the yoga and the meditation that we can talk about at the end. Right. But music therapy is one that's very popular, especially with a lot of the kids and teens. So indeed. I'm glad to have Miss Julianne on with us today.
Indeed. Well, as we talk about music therapy, Ms. Julianne, thank you again for agreeing to join the panel. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. And I know that Dr. Borden has a wonderful array of colleagues, and again, this discussion. Now, music therapy. For those who are, well, you know what? I'll sit back and listen. Share with us, what is music therapy? How does it work? Please, help us understand better.
Absolutely. So actually, I'd like to start by asking you a question. So many people I know have a strong connection to music in some way and are already using it in their lives to either lift themselves up when feeling down, or to connect with their spirituality perhaps, or even to motivate them to make it through a run or a gym workout. So my question for you is, are there ways that you've noticed that you turn to music for support in your own life?
Wow, you know what? Thank you for asking. For me, it is, and it has always been, it became a national song. Not that I know it fully, not that I sing it properly, but I hum it. I sing it. It's something about it that resonates. It's not just to inculcate a sense of national pride or connect to the country, but it's motivating. It's sort of spiritual. It sort of connects to. I love the sea. I find, and I say this not to offend the commissioner, the premier, or anybody else, the idea of not being allowed to get to the beach when you live on an island, not to be able to see the coastline when you live on an island, you may as well be put in solitary confinement, which is in and of itself, a form of torture, right? But to sing the national song, and you hear the words and the connotation of, there is the sea, the breeze, the skies, the imagery that the song sort of brings into your mind, more so than ever. I find that song in and of itself has been, I don't want to use therapeutic, but I guess that's what it has been for me.
Absolutely. That's really wonderful. And actually, a lot of the things that you mentioned really touch on the core of why music therapy works for us. And you're right, music is a very powerful and therapeutic tool in our everyday lives. And I think that's what makes it easy to understand how music, that natural therapeutic power, can be harnessed and studied and taken into the clinical realm to be used as an evidence-based therapy. So you're right that there's a distinction between sort of the therapeutic power of music and the profession or the field of music therapy. So I'd love to give a brief definition and overview of that more clinical definition of music therapy, as you mentioned, for some listeners who might not be familiar with it.
Yes, please. Yes.
So music therapy is an evidence-based health profession in which a trained and credentialed music therapist uses music interventions, so specific music interventions, to accomplish individualized goals for our clients, such as addressing emotional, cognitive, physical, social, and mental health needs. So it's through the actual musical involvement in this clinical context and within a therapeutic relationship that our clients' abilities are strengthened and hopefully transferred to other areas of their lives.
As I listened to you, I had this perception of what music therapy would be like, and then until I got a better understanding of it, and still just a cursory sort of overview, but I've come to understand or appreciate, and maybe you can guide me, that music, different genres of music, or even different songs within the same genre, can evoke certain feelings within you, can make you energized, or can make you feel a little bit, less energized, a little bit down. It can move you, it can excite you, it can motivate you. I guess most people would exercise to upbeat music as opposed to classical, yet I prefer sometimes classical music when I'm exercising.
It's interesting you say that, because I have a friend who exercises to classical music, which doesn't work for me as much, but it works for some people. And I think you bring up a really interesting point here, which is that because of this feature of music that you mentioned, that it's so varied and experienced so differently by so many different people, music therapy can't be prescriptive. So we can't say, when you're exercising, you have to listen to this classical piece. That's what will get you motivated. It doesn't work that way, because we're all individuals and we all have our own relationship to music, and we all experience music differently and are touched by it in different ways. So in that way, it's a very highly individualized field, and we work with the client's own musical preferences to help them achieve their goals.
Now, for people, and I guess, well, first should I ask, music therapy, is it just for children, adolescents? Can adults be a part of it? Groups, individuals? How would it work?
Great question. Music therapists actually work in many, many different areas from birth through end of life care, really. We have music therapists working in the NICU with premature infants. And I personally have worked with Cayman Hospice Care, now Jasmine, in end of life care with their patients. So it really spans across the age ranges and across needs and challenges as well. So from early intervention programs to hospitals and physical rehabilitation, individuals with disabilities. I've worked with youth in the juvenile justice system. So it really, really spans the ages and the challenges. That's one of the things that makes it really, really beneficial, I think, is that it's very widely accessible and widely beneficial.
Across the ranges. Dr. Warden, as you wish, if you want to jump in. I'm sorry, I can't see your eyes. My vision is good, but not through walls, apparently.
Yeah. No, I think that Mr. Lee has done a great introduction to it and has so much experience and has already contributed so much to Cayman that I know that, everyone's familiar with the service and, a lot of people have already benefited from it. Yeah. And I know it's one that teens often ask me about.
Ms. Julian, so like teens, we find that music in particular probably, I don't know if people still listen to music the way I do, but there's something about music, how it brings people together, and so using it, as Dr. Bud was saying, teens would tend to gravitate to music therapy perhaps more than maybe their parents.
I think it would be accurate to say that teens tend to gravitate towards music therapy more than perhaps other therapies, because that is such a huge part of the teen existence, right? Is identity development, and a lot of that is done through the music you listen to and connecting with your friends through listening to music. And now, TikTok and doing TikTok dances. Actually, in some of my work right now, we're using a lot of TikTok because that's what the young people are really excited about and are really interested in. So, what I've found in my work is that often those that are resistant to more traditional therapies can get really excited about and engaged in music therapy. Because as we were speaking about before, music is something that so many people really connect with personally. And that was my experience actually working with the teens and young men out at Northwood Prison. We were told going in that they were very resistant to therapy, but we found that after just one session, they were connecting both with each other and with the therapist and really beginning to open up already after one session, which surprised even the staff members at the prison. And I think actually similar to what Ms. Pandowi said with regards to the equine therapy, with music therapy, people often don't even realize they're being, quote, therapized because making music is such a fun experience. So I think, yes, it can really be a doorway and it can help break down barriers to therapy that do exist.
We always quote. We do have a caller joining us, though, as we go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon. I've been listening to this program, I think most of it, and I've heard all kinds of therapies mentioned, hypnotic therapy and whatnot, music therapy, which I think, that sounds like a good one, maybe a little more expansion on that. But I've not heard, maybe it just slipped through with one word or something, but of any spiritual therapy. And, for about 475 years, that was the only kind of therapy we had in Cayman. And, I just don't, from my standpoint, I don't think enough emphasis is being put on it because it seems like we have a lot of what we could call mental, I don't want to call them problems, but anyway, there's a lot of demand for some kind of mental therapy that works. And usually spiritual therapy is, I think, in most cases, less expensive. It's, I think, probably more lasting, and it's sometimes very self-adaptable. Well, you can do it yourself. So I think that that especially in this community, this CI community, that more emphasis should be put on the spiritual therapy aspect of our existence, or being, or everyday life.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, certainly. I think the spiritual aspect of prayer and the like. Ms. Julianne?
And thank you. I agree. If I may, we're actually going to be doing a whole show on spiritual side of mental health and the rules. So technically, meditation and yoga cross into spirituality, but if we're looking for more of a religious basis, we're actually going to be doing a whole show on that later on in the year, because I agree. I think it's a very important part, and I think it's an integral part of our community and our culture as well. And with many of my clients, it is a part of what I do as well, because I think that that's a part of a person and who they are.
Yeah.
So thank you, caller. I think it's the December show. We're actually dedicating the whole show to spirituality and religion with mental health.
Yeah.
What is the December show?
I believe it's the December one. Let me pull it up.
Yeah,
But I agree. We've done it several times before, and we often talk about the spiritual aspect because I think that that's a part of a person and is often a large part of the work I do with people. But it is December.
I think December is in the way Tomorrowland. Maybe you ought to move it up to what's this? We're in June now. Maybe you ought to move it up to celebrate the next one you have. That's just my,
yes,
my
sir.
2 cents for the day. But it's a good program, and I think people should get some benefit out of it. And music therapy, I'm really interested in that, to hear a bit more about that.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, sir. And I think as I listened to the call, I was thinking back to the question, Mr. Dan, you asked me earlier on a personal level, what song? And I think that's one of the reasons why I love the national song. I look back at it and see how it connects to us, and as the caller, very respectfully share with us, in the Cayman context, as you said, in the CIA context, those of us who may, without even, I guess, second nature in a sense, we don't realize how we resort to prayer, to meditation, to the spiritual aspect of it. But, Mr. Dan?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid point. And as Dr. Bodden said, spirituality is part of the whole person. And that's something that's very important to me as a practitioner as well, is to address the whole person and also to meet them where they are. So if spirituality and religion is something that's very important to a client or someone that I'm working with, I would incorporate that to the best of my ability into the session, no matter what kind of religious background they're coming from. So with some of the clients that I've worked with, particularly through Jasmine in end-of-life care, spirituality is a hugely important part as people face the end of their lives. And I've had clients request a lot of religious music because that's something that speaks to them where they are and is helping them to get ready to let go and transition. So as the caller said, it is a very, very important part of life for people and life in Cayman. So and I think with music therapy, that's something that we're able to address because music is also such a part of religious and spiritual life, right? That's how a lot of people worship around the world, is through singing and through chanting and through music and connecting with others through music. So that is something that does enter into our work as well, if it's relevant to the individual that we're working with.
Indeed. Well, I certainly appreciate you joining us, and hopefully as we continue, Dr. Bodden has been incredible month after month for the last, I lost count of how many years, it feels like 1,000 now. She's been doing this with us.
In a good way, I hope.
No, in a very good way. I honestly, it's, when we had this first discussion about having a monthly mental health matters show, talking about mental health, and to see the way it's been received in the community, how it's been so beneficial, to get people to appreciate that, many of us would talk to our physicians or our dietitians. We would even go to a personal trainer to try to exercise. We'd talk to our coach, about how do we improve our football game, for argument's sake. Some would even talk to, financial counseling, but for some reason, the mental aspect of it, and now that we've had this discussion, we're starting to see there's so many facets and the importance of using different, if I'm not using the incorrect, therapeutic approaches to assist in us. So, music, man. Well, final thoughts, Ms. Julianne? What would you leave with our listeners?
Yeah, I think particularly for this time during this pandemic, it's been such a highly stressful and isolating time for so many people around the world. I just would like to encourage people to reach out for mental health support, and also to see how you can use some of these things that you heard about today in your life, even if you can't access therapy. So music is something that lives in ourselves and that we can access. Research shows that music can reduce the production of cortisol, which is the body's stress hormone in our bodies, and can induce a relaxation response in our autonomic nervous system. So singing and playing music and listening to music can actually physically help decrease symptoms of stress in the body. So just a note to encourage everybody out there to use whatever tools you have access to try to improve your mental health in these stressful and challenging times.
All right. Well, thank you. And what I'm hearing on a personal level is it's okay when I'm in the shower to sing very loudly, because it does make a joyful noise. Hopefully, my family isn't too stressed by it. You know what? It's a stress relief for me. So that's okay.
Yes, it is. Sing out, sing loud, sing proud.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Dr. Borden, in closing, I know that you have, I'm going to post all this up on drborden.com, but, close us out. And thank you again for another, wonderful opportunity for you doing such a great job facilitating and sourcing our panel and our discussions.
Yeah. No, thank you as well. And I really enjoyed kind of like highlighting different parts. So thank you to everyone for your coordination for today. And I wanted to just kind of jump off what Ms. Julianne said, is that, although these are considered alternative or complementary therapies, there is a growing literature base that supports each and every one of them. And that's something that I'm always impressed with. Obviously, as a psychologist, the scientific literature and the evidence base for what I do is important to me. But the growing evidence that these other therapies are very helpful in their own right, I think is very impressive. So I'd suggest if anyone's interested in them, reach out to the providers that talked about them, get some more information, do an internet search. All of us and our contact information is already listed on drborden.com. And there's even other ones as well that we didn't get a chance to touch on today, such as art therapy, dance or movement therapy. There's a lot of different options out there, so even if the first one isn't the right fit for you, it's okay to try again.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you, especially, for closing us out today, and both of you.
Can I just say there's a couple of apps that help with meditation, if that's all right, that I meant to say after Mr. Terry and Miss Natalie's part, which is Headspace is one that does meditations, and they've got a free part right now for dealing with stress with COVID-19. Calm is another one that has a lot of different options for relaxation, and actually some music options, which Miss Julianne will be happy with, as well as Smiling Mind has, and Smiling Mind has some options for relaxation and meditation as well. So those are three apps that are available online that have different resources that people can tap into right now.
Oh, excellent. And thank you again, each of you, and hopefully we'll have a chance to have a continuing dialogue and encouraging others to really, really value their mental health and well-being, and understand how it's important, to be safe, especially during this time. So thank you very, very much. And to our listeners, when we return, we invite you to call 949-8037. Got a couple of things to share with you, so please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Members of the public are reminded that the new curfew period will run nightly, 8 p.m. until 4:30 a.m. through Saturday, 6 June 2020. Adjustments will be made for the hard curfew period from Sunday, 7th June 2020 through Monday, 22nd June 2020. The curfew period will be from 10 p.m. until 4:30 a.m. daily. The new imposition of curfew order relates to Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac only. During this period of curfew, only exempted essential services personnel may be on the road, outside, and away from their residence. Social distancing requirements apply, and persons should not congregate in groups of more than 2 through Saturday, 6 June. 89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Just a quick reminder. If you were expecting a press briefing today, well, not today. What is it? Not today, Bobo. Tomorrow is the plan. So for the remainder of the afternoon, you can join us for some open line between now and 2:30. We have the 2 p.m. headline news coming up. But it was a long weekend for some of us. I mean, it was all, day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I just trying to digest a bit because some have shared, they feel like it's been a long weekend all along. For others, it's been non-stop. It's not that they're working any less or it's any easier. It's constant and non-stop. So, what is your perspective? How are you coping? Again, a very special thanks to Dr. Alexandra Borden for facilitating our monthly Mental Health Matters show, especially during this time, and to remind us of the importance of looking after all aspects of our health. Please, and as safe as you can, not just with the exercises, but as you go about exercising, whether you've got a space in your room, or you've got a larger space in your home, whether it's your garage, your outdoor yard, whether you're walking on the roads or on the beach or elsewhere. As you exercise, do the exercise safely, do it in a safe space, and certainly ensure that you get that physical activity, but please look after your mental health and well-being as well. And of course, the stresses that can come with as sort of life takes its turns can sometimes be even greater when we look at the notion of the financial sort of woes that some of us may feel. So if you can get a little assistance with your financial counseling and the like, I certainly would advise that as well. But it's open line. What's on your mind? What are you willing to share with us? Well, give us a shout, 949-8037, or you can call toll-free if you're a non-Flow subscriber. Call 949-8037 for the Flow users. call toll free at 1-800-534-8255 and tell us about your weekend. Tell us about your plans ahead. Maybe tell us about your expectations. Perhaps you may want to wax poetically about something. Maybe you may say, listen, you know what? If the government was to listen to me, here's what I would share with them relative to doing it this way or doing that or doing this in addition. As it is, I believe if we truly live in a free and fair society, if it is a democracy, then we are free to speak. I think the only thing that we should always do is to share our perspectives from a very considered perspective, think about what we're saying, but equally be respectful of the audience. Some of us are challenged with our language and the like. We are, perhaps because of our education, perhaps because of our own disposition, we find that certain words and phrases come easier to us. And for others listening, we may have to perhaps look up, the meaning and definitions of those words. For others, it may be that they're laden with other particular tones and the like. But in the end, let's see if we can communicate our message in a way that when it's conveyed, others will at least be able to clearly understand what we're saying. And then on our part, as we listen, let's be receptive to hearing what is being said. Doesn't mean we need to agree, but when we do disagree, then we can do so again in a civilized manner, countering what is shared in such a way that encourages good discourse and dialogue. And naturally, that should prove to be very healthy and beneficial. So it's going to be open line, and we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037, or toll free with a complimentary flow at 1-800-534-8255. Now, I think there are a number of individuals within our society who have always sort of questioned, well, with our population being the size it is, with the seemingly attempt to continue the growth and development, to what extent are we looking at it in a managed, very, very sustainable manner? Would this particular environment now that we found ourselves be ever more conducive to coming out on the other end with a healthier, safer, more stable, and sort of secure, politically, economically, socially, sort of unified society? And what are you thinking? What is it that would be that thing that you would be able to say to the powers that be that would make us, that much better when we emerge on the other end of this thing? There are many people who have shared that now that they are home for an extended period, it seems that the utilities have sort of gone through the roof, and the companies have said, it's going to be higher, so be mindful, be prepared. Well, some were us, when we look at our lifestyles, from the perspective of being home for extended periods of time, it hasn't really changed. Not just those who are retired or semi-retired, or those who have been working from home or homeschooling all along, have seen increases as well. And the question is there some sort of assistance that can be given, when people now are facing increased sort of expenses, not just because of their increased utilities, because they've been home for longer hours, but perhaps equally they've had to maybe buy more things. There are more people using the computer links, so they need to buy more computers. Perhaps the internet packages that they have perhaps could work before, because not everybody was on at the same time. Now they're finding that whatever speed or package they had is not sufficient. Are there things that we can do, that could assist? Is there a stipend? Is there some sort of assistance? And should these things be part of making our lives, the quality of our lives, that much better? Should we, as a society, through our government policy, when we're looking at internet access, see that in this day and age as almost a necessity. In many cases, should it be as pricey as some have said that it is comparatively speaking? Should the speed and access be that much better? We've rolled out tens of millions of dollars in infrastructure relative to the fiber optics. What can we do? And now that we're not in our offices, less sort of utilities being paid there. A lot of things to discuss. We want to take the break for news, but when we come back, we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Your 2 p.m. headlines brought to you by greenturtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile. Saving lives today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
It's a weekend filled with entertainment as the NCVO hosted its annual telethon and the Child Month Talent Expo was streamed online. Both the Talent Expo and the NCVO Hearts from Home event can be found on YouTube. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Violence has erupted in cities across the U.S. on the 6th night of protests sparked by the death in police custody of African-American George Floyd. Dozens of cities imposed curfews, but many people ignored them, leading to standoffs and clashes. Riot police faced off with protesters in New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and L.A., firing tear gas and pepper bullets to try to disperse crowds. Police vehicles were set on fire, and shops were looted in several cities. And fireworks have lit up skies across Japan in surprise displays to lift spirits during the COVID-19 pandemic. The shows were held at secret locations, each lasting 5 minutes from 8 p.m. Japan time. Organizers set a time limit for the displays to avoid crowds gathering. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up to date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. It is open line as we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Wanted to join our callers as we go straight to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Very blessed, very thankful, always looking at it and saying, you know what, today is good, tomorrow's going to be better.
That's true. You got to be thankful. Government is doing a tremendous good job. I got a few things I want to hit on, and I hope that I don't hit anyone's court bill, but I'm just speaking from what I am seeing with the taxi and the toll operator situation with help from the government. You know, they gave us a stipend a couple of months ago, and some people are still waiting on theirs. And no one is contacting you back to let you know that it has been processed and it's at your account or whatever the case may be. got us going to the bank day after day, week after week, look at to see if anything is into the account. I want to leave that right there. Now they come up with another one now, Chambers COVID-9 registration for Ministry of Tourism. So they sent that out and filled that out, and we haven't heard anything. When I say haven't heard anything, last night was a deadline, but apparently some had anything from Jump Street, from it came out. People have been submitting them there and can't hear if anyone has gotten anything, and it's like you have to go to the bank again to find if anything there, and you keep going to see if anything is put in the bank for you. They're not telling you that you're going to get anything in this other, it's called in other words, a registering, displaced employment. You understand? And they got it under Chamber COVID-9 and Ministry of Tourism. But what I'm trying to say is, Sterling, we are ambassadors for this Cayman Island. When those planes come in, the first people they see at that airport is the guys on the ground level by the plane. When the plane is coming in, they go into immigration and customs. When they come out, they go to the dispatch, and then they belong to us, and we take them where they have to go. So we are the ones that have a more connection to a degree with our visitors from the cruise ship to the airport. And what I'm saying is here that they're telling people to go down to NAU to see what they can be assist down there and so forth. I think we as ambassadors for this island, we should not have been put in that category. They should have came out and said, well, you know what, we got 600 taxi drivers. We're going to tell them, you're going to pick up your phone from a certain place, you take it back home and you fill it out, and you bring it back, and they will submit it. You don't have to be out there standing in no long lines under these hot tents that turn off more heat. And from the building open in the morning until it's practically closed in the evening time, they're out there still waiting patiently, trying to get inside to get an answer to the questions or trying to get a form filled out and trying to get some assistance. Now, Sterling NAU has been backed up apparently from day one, and this is even worse now. And it's from the poor to the poor will be there, and from the rich from the rich to the rich will have to go there one day. It's not about embarrassment and who's there, but what I'm saying is we are ambassadors for the island. They should have a little bit more respect for us as far as some of us are concerned. They say that they got a taxi association here, some of the taxi drivers. I want to know how come they not come out and try to have a meeting with Mr. Moses or whoever and say, well, you know what? We need to bring in all the taxi drivers' names and information and submit it to whoever, and then you all take it from there. Don't have us running from A to Z trying to get $150 and asking 1 million questions that half it doesn't even apply to you. And I say this is only temporary. I'm sorry it happened to the whole world, but we're in the situation. But the fact is, we know we as taxi drivers will not be going there when this is properly under the sheet, but it may not go completely. We might still have a touch here and there, but they will get back up there and work and do what they have to do to maintain themselves. So I feel that we should have brought in under a different category altogether. And Sterling, we as taxi drivers, we is who promoting the restaurant, the condos, and the hotels. Say, for example, I'm taking you to the Ritz-Carlton, right? And you heard about the Westin, and they're going to ask, about the Westin. You understand? So we are talking constantly with our visitors, and I am appalled to know that there's so much going on right now in Cayman, so much contribution is going here and there, and no hotels, no condos, no restaurant has got together and say, you know what? These taxi drivers bring people to us. We need to say, get together, and if it's even a $25 gift certificate, and put it together with all those different places, it should accumulate into something to give us. A lot of us are here not begging for anything. It's the principle of how you're being treated. And to think about how much we have lost in the tourism, And then we got to go on our public transport when all this is died down to an extent to get all our paperwork all done over again. Are we going to get a discount there? Are they going to take away that $100 and change the urine test that we how to do every year to help get us back on our feet again? I would like somebody to answer that question for me. What are they going to do for us when it's time for us to come and get our renewal of license in December, January of this coming year? I appreciate everything the government is doing. They're doing a very good job trying to protect us, and they have done a good job. But we as taxi drivers, and they say they have an association, that association should have got together and get out there and fight. Not all of the taxi drivers are in the association, you understand? And I'm one that's not in it, not because I don't want to be in it, but I have it run. I don't fully understand, and no one tried to explain it to me, so I just leave it as is, because if people want you in their little circle, they will make sure you get in a little circle. You know what I mean? So a lot is working on their own out here. So I just want to say today that the hotels, the restaurants, and the so-and-so should have some compassion when it comes to the taxi drivers, and we sell their business to them on a daily basis. Sterling, sometimes driving from the airport to the hotels, you talk the whole 10 minutes, and when you get to talking, you're dehydrated. But you were glad to release the information that they wanted. And you know what to tell you? Oh, you're a great ambassador for the Cayman Islands. You're very informative. You know your island. I know you work to earn our money. I know you work to earn our money, but everybody is getting a piece of the pie from here and there. But I think that these people could have come forward to the taxi drivers on the tour buses.
Respect, I guess, respect. Huh? Well, listen, thank you for sharing it, and maybe as we move forward, we'll see the importance of working together and the importance of the things that we do, how it plays out as it affects us all. Any other thoughts you want to leave with us?
Well, take care, and I'm just going to say to the government that they are doing a good job, but we can't let our guard down yet. We can't get too comfortable and let our guards down, and I hope that they're going to continue to keep on the alphabets going to the grocery stores. That can't change no time soon. I hope they don't change that no time soon. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. That alphabet got to stay in order for them the grocery stores that need to stay as is for right now for a little bit longer.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, man. Well, let's go to the phones and join the other caller. Good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Yeah, it's me again, Margaret.
I like that country song, How are you, sir?
Yeah, I heard you mention something a while ago about, I guess, a juncture for course correction. And, I think a lot of people, a lot of Caymanians are under that same sort of thought trend. And I'm afraid that if we don't do it now, if it starts on another runaway train ride, that it'll be too late. In fact, it might be already too late. But I think what has presented itself gives us a junction to do some course correction. And, you look back over the years, there's been all these plans that were bought, actually, and some of them cost quite a bit, and some of them there was a lot of elbow grease, a lot of mental thinking, a lot of things that went into the plan, the vision. What was it? 2008? Was that it, or was it? I think it was 2008.
Yes, sir.
2008. Where I think that they probably can't even find it now. But anyway, it's probably somewhere on the shelf. We had the Mercer plan before that, I think. I think that was the basic tourism thing, but tourism is one of the main pillars of the economy.
Well, we had the Coopers and Lybrand plan in '92, and the Mercer report was not part to do with sort of healthcare, health insurance, and the cost pensions.
Right. I think so, yeah. But that was, I guess, before the Coopers and Lybrand, I believe. Anyway, and then of course there was the development plan. And there was some kind of another master plan, and the latest one, I guess, is the cultural plan that was rolled out a year ago, or a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And of course, the cultural plan, I think, should dovetail into all of these various other things. And maybe it's a time for them for us, where we are, to see if we can get them off the shelf and review them and see what we might have missed, and can it be applicable to moving forward.
Mm-hmm. If I then could maybe ask of you then, as we go back to the early 70s with some of the development plans that we had then, relative to the land usage and the like, and then we look at it where we are today, right this minute, with respect to all and sundry alike, are we presently today, this environment, at risk of all of these initiatives? Some call them pop-up charities or pop-up initiatives. Everybody working almost in silos, trying to feather their own nest, puff up their chest and respond in a way. Are we at risk of people doing things to sort of appease their conscience because they didn't do anything before, didn't see the need, didn't really care, they have an ulterior motive? Or is there a way to harness all of this now to say, okay, the Cayman of tomorrow, whether that's 6 months from now, but certainly for generations to come, will be better, safer, stronger, more stable, secure, united, because now we have a shared vision and objective.
Well, you mentioned all the pop-ups, as you call them. Well, I think that is the result of really not having a concise plan and one that is guided efficiently, and that's what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think free market, that is very important, but too much free market sometimes is as detrimental as no free market.
So is it the problem then that not only are we watching where the pendulum is swinging, but it's the person sort of hitting the pendulum, because too much free market may be good, but with respect to the Legislative Assembly, we heard the Honorable Opposition Leader, what was his word, totalitarian regime, I think he referenced. Are we at risk then that some people, not just in the Cayman context, but we understand this just reading the different things from history and even the things that are transpiring globally, that when governments and police and authorities get a taste of power, they really want to claw back that power instead of appreciating that they're there to serve, not to dictate.
Well, I think going forward there should be a real emphasis on CI sensitive. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And, because that's what it's being done for the Cayman Islands public, the Cayman Islands community. Mm-hmm. And if it varies off of that course, then that's where you get all these pop-ups and as you put them. So there should be a plan that is workable, and the only way we'll know it's workable if we make a plan and
mm-hmm.
try to drive it up the hill or on a flat surface and see if it works. And of course, no plan is really perfect. In fact, I think there's a quote somewhere, I forget who did it, but which says perfection is the enemy of progress. So I think it's a good opportunity for the island community to take a good look and take some corrective measures, correct the course, and just move forward in a positive direction. And had this period of that we've been in for the last 16, 18 weeks not more or less been thrust upon us, we probably would not have had this opportunity,
mm-hmm.
at least for a while. So
I hear you.
I think we should take advantage of it and do what many people think needs to be done at this point, and do a course correction.
Right.
Take some more sites and bring it down to the horizon.
There you go. Well, I can't take credit for the word pop-up. I've heard people reference that, and not always in a negative connotation, into pop-up businesses. But I think that that quote you referenced might have been Churchill. Perfection is the enemy of progress. That might have been attributed to Sir Winston Churchill, but I could be wrong. I think that was, but it was him, I believe.
I can't remember who.
Yeah.
At the moment, anyway.
Right. Well, I appreciate you sharing with me. Anything else you want to leave with us this afternoon, sir?
No, well, I thought since you sort of floated that one up or popped that one up to the surface. But,
yeah, well, you know what?
Course correction. I thought I'd chime in.
Thank you.
Because there are a lot of other people. There's a lot of people in the community in today's society, presently, who have the same sort of thought trend. You know, that is the direction that we should be looking, and not just turn the reins loose and let everything go back up to a fast gallop and run away with us.
Mm-hmm. No, man, it is, I think, an opportune time as we think about, what not just what we want for ourselves, but for future generations. And it actually could benefit us not just down the line, but honestly, right now, if we do the right thing relative to improving our well-being and our quality of life. So you are right. If we don't take corrective action, no.
Yeah, well, for some of us, we're three-quarter home from the start to the end. So it's not going to really matter that much. But the young folks coming up, it is going to matter much, very much. And I think that's where a lot of our concern has to be in moving forward.
There you go. It has to be in the end, for the greater good, as we serve the interests of a wider society, respecting, what it is that has made us what we are. I see that people like you really, really, remind us of the importance of what we have and why we have it. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Have a blessed afternoon. And we do have another call, but we also have the final break to take. Won't take long. We'll be right back.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up-to-date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. #Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Home, which should be a haven, can even be less of a safe space during curfew if someone is experiencing child abuse. If you or anyone you know is being abused, help is nearby. For emergencies, call 911. They will redirect your call to the relevant agencies. For general guidelines and inquiries, call the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH, at 1-800-534-2273 or 945-0545. Alternatively, email mash@gov.ky.
All residents are asked to stay at home unless you have permission to work, have to go to a medical facility, pharmacy, bank, or supermarket. If you must go out, remember to stay at least 6 feet from other persons who are not members of your household. This reduces the risk of transmission, whether or not a person with coronavirus is showing symptoms. Everyone must wear face masks or other face coverings while taking public transportation, inside buildings, or other public spaces. For more information and to view the new regulations in full, go to www.gov.ky/coronavirus. Fishing is permitted between the hours of 5:15 a.m. and 7 p.m. through Saturday, 6th June. Starting Sunday, 7th June, the restriction on the use of boats for fishing will be relaxed in Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac and will permit fishing between the hours of 4:45 a.m. and 9 p.m. each day of the week, including Sunday, but no more than 6 persons may be on a boat. In Cayman Brac, boats may also be used for leisure during these times, but inter-island travel by boat is not permitted. No fishing, no boating or congregating is being permitted at Stingray City, Starfish Point, Rum Point or the Sandbar. This means that a person may not anchor any boat, exercise on the beach, fish or swim or carry out any activities in any of those areas. This restriction does not impact beachside residents exercising at those locations.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Trusting that you're enjoying the week so far. We have another call online. Good afternoon and welcome. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Oh, good to hear from you. Trust all is well with your day so far?
Oh, don't even go there. I would just like to say hi to all folks out there suffering from C-19 fatigue like myself, all cooped up, so on and so forth, but I don't mind it. I'm not complaining. I just want to say a few words to Mr. Banks. And goodness knows, Loco, I can't believe it, but you're the only one taking on hard subjects nowadays. I mean, that one right there, just a minute ago, that's a hard subject.
Yep.
And I'm just glad that someone is doing it because, yep. Those words need to be said. That concept needs to be out there. And I'm just glad someone is doing it. Glad it's you, too. And I would just like also to congratulate him. A few weeks ago, he had one that said some of our money should stay here in this economy. I mean, kind of like he was kind of beat back with that, but however, it needs to be done. Yes, some of the money should. It's not only to be earned here and you know, kind of farmed out here, you know, set into the ground, and there's a harvest, and then you know what is harvested is sent off to other parts and other ports. Some of that money should really find a way to stay in this country. So I am just so glad, Loco. You know, your best friend right here. So glad that you're bringing up the hard subject because it takes somebody in your position, you know, with your kind of grit right there that will get that voice low and just say what you got to say. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I listen to you, if you have a second. I'm thinking that we are looking at Cayman today, and with great respect, I think many people, many different jurisdictions are facing similar sort of mindsets in a sense. But we're seeing the interconnectedness of the world almost in a light that we probably never appreciated. From the perspective of, you know, how do we get our food? We also always talked about the notion of food security, but as a country, have we done enough or anything, you know, about it?
I know, but that's what he's saying today. That's exactly what he's saying today. From 2007, 2008, we were talking very strongly, you know, behind the scenes about food security, and it's not here yet. I'm not beating anybody down with this either, because I think as you know, as a national thing, we're trying to get there. I do believe we're trying to get there. Yeah. And the Cayman Islands government will always throw money at problems that they see, that they want to overcome, or something that they want to become involved in. So I think they're doing things, but I don't think we're there yet. And I think from 2008, 2009, we should be there by now. But I'm not, like I say, I'm not throwing mud at anybody's feet, not doing that. Because I know we're trying. And this is our first time really getting there. We might not have passed this way before.
So, we're kind of like setting new footprints and doing all that. So, I'm glad about that. But we're not quite there yet. And this should be some sort of reset for things just like that.
Indeed,
that we can be. We may never be 100% secure as far as food is concerned. And as we're trying to get to 100 and odd thousand, that might be hard for us the size we are and our topography and so on and so forth. It might really be hard for us, but I think we can have more breadfruit, more plantain, more banana, 2 little guineas. We can have more of that kind of backyard gardening. We grew up with that. Everybody had a stick of cassava. We really need to work on issues like that. And of course, some money staying here in our economy, and that's called, I would want to say taxes, but they don't like that word here, fees. Fees that make sense, fees that are not a disgrace to the country that we live in, that we own. To say 1% of this, 1% of what? You made it here, you didn't pay any income taxes on it, that's free money, and you're sending it home now, baby. We got to get some too. That's how I look at things. But anyway, thank you very much.
You're most blessed. Thank you very much. Let's take one final call. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, blessed. And you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. I just, something's been pressing on my mind and my heart for quite some time. I don't call in very often, but as a God-fearing nation, I am just baffled as to why our pastors or ministers haven't been coming on. And even I know that when they do the press briefings, there's some prayers and stuff like that are going up, which is a good thing. But it's just puzzling to me as to why our pastors, even though the churches are closed down, that doesn't stop us from communicating with God. And seeing yesterday was the day of Pentecost, I was hoping that I would have heard some people calling in and, even giving thanks to God for another day that we have, even though we're going through all of this lockdown and all the tight control and everything, that we still need to lift God up. And I'm just also wondering, why aren't the churches being opened up when around the world a lot of churches have opened up already? And seeing that, again, as I said before, as we are a God-fearing nation, it's pressing on my heart as to why none of this is being done or anything being, no one coming forward on behalf of the Christians on the island. We got to remember that the book of Esther, that tells you a lot about, it might have happened to the Jews in the past, but it's, you remember history repeats itself. And so that was one of the scriptures that have been coming into play in even our prayer groups, because we do Zoom prayers twice a day. And, we pray for the government, we pray for the Cayman Islands, we pray for all the nations around the world. But I just would hope that our ministers would come forward some more and help, because there's a lot of people feeling this, and there's a lot of people who are not as fortunate as some. And, hearing a word of God, sometimes maybe, I know you're always bringing on ministers and stuff like that, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but just...
No, man, I'll listen to you. Thank you.
We need to be strong in the Lord, and we just need to remember that whilst we see all the riots and stuff starting up around the world, Cayman has been so quiet, and, we're a peaceful people for starters. And to see that nothing has happened, we haven't had any deaths and all that kind of stuff. So we need to remember God, and we need to put God in the forefront at all times, because He is in control no matter what, And the book of Ruth is another book of connection and closeness and unity. So if we would just try to put God more into what we're doing and what we're saying, we need Him now more than ever. If there's ever a time that we've never ever needed God, it is now. And God blesses obedience. He rewards blessings. God rewards obedience with blessings. And we just need to pray for the sick and the elderly and the children, of course, because they're feeling it as well. And I think they're feeling it more than anybody else because they're not even able to communicate with their friends. And a lot of children look forward to that. And I've been in contact with some people and some friends who've told me that it's very hard for them with these lessons with the computer and all that kind of stuff. And they're losing their patience, and they're even getting angry with the kids because they do not understand, the computer side of stuff. So we need to lift them up, remember these people in prayer, remember our sick, and remember our bereaved. And if you can bring on some ministers, I know you know a lot, just bring on some ministers and have some people doing some prayer and doing one whole session on, because we need repentance and we need healing in our land, and the only way God is going to heal us is if we repent.
Yeah,
Christ is coming soon, no matter what anybody says, because the Bible has to be fulfilled. And these are some of the times that the Bible talk about that we're going to see, and there's going to be worse times coming. So we need to get our feet in there, both feet in there, and get serious with God and ask for repentance for the land. Every day and every night I pray and ask God to heal our land, and I repent on behalf of the people and repent for everybody, but everybody else needs to take charge and repent for themselves, because God not going to really accept my repentance. I mean, he will accept it to an extent, but he's not going to accept repenting for you when you have your own dilemma and you need to repent on your own. Everybody needs to do it for themselves. So I just thought I'd call in and say that today because it's been pressing on me, and say God bless the Cayman Islands, and thank you for holding down the fort, Susan, as usual. God bless and have a great afternoon, Dwayne.
God bless. And thank you for those words and for the prayer and through your prayer groups and others for praying for our people, for our leaders, that they have a sense of humility and integrity, honesty, and compassion, and they would, as they go about, do so with wisdom. I think as you shared, if we would pray, with each other and for one another, as the caller reminds us, we can be responsible for others, but we're only accountable for ourselves. I think the word talks about, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Perhaps sometimes we forget that. It also reminds us, trust in the Lord, lean not on your own understanding. So as we are sort of one people united under, Christ, we need to appreciate, that we're in this catboat and the seas are rough. But if we're paddling together, if we can hoist the sail, if we can always remember that our actions are affected by others, but equally impact others. Now, trust and pray that you go about the rest of this day and this week in a very productive manner, with a great sense of humility and integrity, that you wouldn't be so mindful of trying to correct others as you would be mindful of correcting ourselves. And then we work on that which we can improve ourselves. We'll see if each did that, how much better it'll be, because in the end, the individual, it's just a collection. When put together, it makes a stronger society. I trust and pray this day will be a wonderful one, and tomorrow will even be better. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Also brought to you by greenturtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
After all that talk, sit back, relax. Easy listening on the way. You're listening to Susan on the PM Show